I was called out by Dave over at Still Only 35 Cents for a tag video. And since he's Australian, I wanted to make this a little bit more watchable for him. So, here we go. Do you get the joke? I'm upside down now. He's Australian. You see, it's funny because why do I have a didgeridoo? I didgeridoo not know. Hey everybody, my name's Hagen, and welcome back to Lettuce Comics. Now, like I said, Dave over at Still Only 35 Cents tagged me in a challenge, and that challenge was top 5 undervalued comics. Now, I'm not a spec buyer, so we have to establish what value means to me. Essentially, value to me isn't how much I can flip a book for, because I very rarely sell books. It's how much enjoyment I get out of them. These are, after all, pieces of paper that I intend to keep around for a very, very long time. So the only way that they have any value to me is what I get out of them, not what I can get from them. To put it to you a different way, this is my dog. His name is Theodore Roosevelt. Dog toys have a value. You can buy them at a store for a certain dollar amount. But what Theo gets a lot of value and enjoyment from are paper towel rolls. I'll let you down. You're a heavy dog. You're a very heavy dog. Okay. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Thank you for helping me. Theo does not care how expensive a dog toy is. He is more than happy to just play around in what a lot of other people would call garbage. Now, the books I'm going to talk about today aren't garbage, but you understand my point. Value's in the eye of the beholder, and it's important to remember that in videos like this. Before we start, I want to make sure that one thing is absolutely crystal clear. I am happy that a lot of these books are as cheap as they are. Well, all except for one of these books is cheap, but we'll get to that in a second. I view comic books as something that I purchase and have forever, unless I can, trade them or something. I'm not really a reseller. So why would I want to spend more? Why would I want these books to be more expensive if I think that the value is a lot more than the cost that they're going for? I don't. I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. So now that we understand each other, I want to go ahead and get started. I want to first give an honorable mention, and that goes to Civil War: The Confession by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev. Now, I've talked about this book a lot on this channel, but if you don't know, this is one of my favorite comic books to go back and read. If you are a Captain America fan, or an Iron Man fan, or a fan of the event Civil War, or just a Marvel Universe fan, this book and its consequences and the way that it lays out the understanding between Iron Man and Captain America are absolutely crucial, and it is a must-read. And you can get it on my comic shop right now for $2.50. That's insane to me, but go wild, I guess. Starting off the list with a category of books. My first pick for undervalued comic books are any comic books that are graded by CBCS. For one reason or another, you guys can fight amongst yourselves in the comments section below. The market has decided that books graded by CGC are much more valuable than books graded by CBCS. You can regularly find, depending on the book, books that look similar with the same grade going for hundreds of dollars cheaper in CBCS slabs. And let's be honest with ourselves here. The grading scale is so subjective, even within CGC itself, that I'm willing to bet that the difference between a CGC 4.0 and a CBCS 4.0 isn't as great as what a lot of people would seem to think it is. But people love that CGC label, and so they pay a premium when they see it. You can be the one that swoops in to pick up a discounted CBCS label, resubmit it if you want to, I don't care, I'm not your mom, and save hundreds and hundreds of dollars. When I've been looking at getting big keys online, this is the way that I go. I would be very scared to buy a raw book that costs more than $100 over the internet when I haven't had it in my hands. The next best thing are using third-party grading services, and to me, they're pretty much the same. Do with this information what you will. The next book that I have is, again, a category of books, and that is anti-drug issue books. I have one, it's this one, but there are a ton of these out there. I know of a Spider-Man and Power Man team up, and I'm sure that DC has some as well. But I do know that with almost every single one of these books, they can be found in the dollar bin. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but the reason why pre-code horror books are so important is because of their connection to history and their covers. Now, anti-drug issue books do have a connection to history. It was the 80s and everyone was doing it. And a lot of anti-drug issue books have absolutely insane covers. Just the concept behind them. I think they're hilarious, and I love seeing that snapshot in history, seeing what government agencies were trying to do to keep kids from doing drugs. And that was get Superman and Spider-Man to tell them that doing drugs isn't cool. I know that these were printed in greater numbers than pre-code horror books, but to me, as far as people that are alive today, the history of these books is more relevant. So I don't understand why you can regularly find them in 50-cent or dollar bins. But you're not going to see me complaining about it. I just thought I'd let you all know. My number 3 book is an actual comic book, and that is Hulk 180. That's the end of the sentence. It's Hulk 180. Now, how could I possibly say that this book is undervalued? After all, it's worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, there's another book that goes along with this, whose history is intertwined with this book, and that's Hulk 181. Now, why are their histories intertwined? If you're not familiar, Hulk 181 is touted by a lot of people as being the first appearance of Wolverine, and Hulk 180 is touted as being the cameo. I have one question to ask those people. Have you ever seen the inside of Hulk 180? Because here is the last page. I will give you a moment to look at it. This is not a cameo. This is a first appearance. Hulk 180 is the first appearance of Wolverine. Now, if you prefer Hulk 181, totally fine. The cover's awesome, and Wolverine actually appears on the cover. And in general, the market has decided that those are sort of the preferential books. But even though you prefer it, even though it's more valuable, doesn't make it the first appearance. And so I find it really confusing that right now on my comic shop, you can get a copy of Hulk 180, the first appearance of Wolverine, in a CGC 6.0 for $649. Whereas a copy of Hulk 181 in a CGC 6.0 is $3,324. What are you people doing? Obviously, like the books that you like. Bruce from Up North Comics just got a copy of Hulk 181, and I couldn't be happier for him. Jacob at Bone Claws Comics just got a copy of Hulk 180, and I couldn't be happier for him. I just don't understand why Hulk 180 is so cheap compared to Hulk 181. The number 2 book that I have for you today is Sandman number 20. Now, if you look this book up on Key Collector, it will tell you that it has no key significance. But what I would tell you is that this is one of the greatest single issues of comics that I have ever read in my entire life. If you're not familiar, spoiler alert by the way, Dream, the main character of Sandman, doesn't appear in this issue. Instead, this comic follows Element Girl, a sort of cult favorite DC superhero. Element Girl is really struggling with reconciling her powers and having a normal life, and she's begging for it all to end. And that's when she meets Death. What happens is a beautiful breakdown of the realities of depression and the relationship that human beings have with the concept of death. It's a beautifully, beautifully written story. And you too can have all of that for the low, low price of $7.20. I don't know why this isn't a more expensive book, but I'm overjoyed that the ceiling of people that can own this book is a lot higher than it would be if it were where I think it probably should be, which is $40 to $50. It's really genuinely that good. The last book that I have for you is this. Now this is Terminator, The Burning Earth, #1. The creative team on this book features Ron Fortier as the writer and Alex Ross as the cover artist and the interior artist. Now, Alex Ross has done a ton of stuff, but this is the first book that Alex Ross ever worked on. I'm of the opinion that Alex Ross's name is going to be in textbooks in 100 years. The man has a distinctive, gorgeous art style. It's one of the things that got me into reading comic books in the first place. His art for Kingdom Come, his art for the Marvels, it's just stunning. It's stunning. And you can own the first book that he ever worked on, Terminator, The Burning Earth, #1, for a mere $8 from my comic shop. People go crazy about the first appearance of fictional characters. This is an actual person, and he's already made real, revolutionary changes to the world of comic books. And you can have his very first work for $8. Go crazy. That's all that I have for you guys today. A big thanks to Still Only 35 Cents for tagging me. I really enjoyed putting this list together and doing the research and sort of figuring out my take on what seems to be a spec question. And I'm going to keep this tag video rolling. I'm going to tag Martin, the Aussie comic book collector, because I'm interested to see what's undervalued in a different country on the other side of the world. Alan, the comic collector geek, because he has an amazing Golden Age collection. It hurts my eyes to look at, and I'm curious to see what Golden Age books he thinks are undervalued. And my last tag is going to be for the guys over at the Code X station. If you haven't checked them out, they're a bunch of great, funny, raunchy dudes, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to come up with. You guys got to pick 5, and I think that leaves 1 for each of you. So what did you guys think of my list? Do you agree or disagree with anything that I said? I love talking to people down in the comments. I answer every single one. I really want to hear what you have to say. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. I've got a new video coming out very soon. I did a comic book hunt with Jacob from Bone Claws Comics, and I think we both made out like bandits. You can go ahead and check his video out now. But until then, I really appreciate you watching. Every single one of you. Thank you so much. Bye.